say good afternoon to all of you. What I passed out to some of you all is a document that contains information on my brother, Manuel Leroy Carroll, PFC Manuel Leroy Carroll, deceased United States Marine Corps. And I passed that out because I know you all have been attending and heard us talk about Manuel Leroy Carroll, my brother, and the monument over at the Veterans Building. And we've had some of those conversations. And I thought in that we were at a time when we were honoring veterans, those who had made it through those conflicts such as and others, that I would pass this out so that when we spoke of him again, hopefully next time, it will be that his name is added to the monument there, and we won't be speaking of him in a way that's anonymous to you. You will know who he is by the information that I passed out.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
We have.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not recognizing it at this point.
Well, it's still a point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Human Services has 11 items. Public Safety has 7 items. They were all passed on to the Finance Committee with the due pass recommendation. Now,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
those items
Justice Hard.
Point of information.
not to the full court with a due pass. Or what's your recommendation?
Say, what?
Hey, folks, we move forward.
Mr. Chairman, we didn't have a committee meeting on the agenda tonight.
This is my report for the
No, sir.
Finance Committee.
No, sir, Mr. Chairman. You're out of order, and that is not how we normally do business, and you know better than that. Senior member of the Quorum Court, you know better than that for a meeting to be called for the Quorum
I
Court.
didn't recognize you, Mr. Justice Carroll, first of all.
Well-
And second of all, this is committee meeting. I'm having.
No, sir. No, sir. It cannot be a committee meeting, sir.
No, you cannot.
You never
I called this
notified the
finance
public, and you
committee
did not
tonight.
notify us.
So we have.
You did not notify
We have
us, and you
18
did not
items on this committee.
notify the press.
To do that.
Point of order, Justice Hard. You can't call a committee meeting on the spur of the moment. You have to give 24 hours notice to the Quorum Court as well as the public and the press. You have done neither. Today, we were scheduled for a Quorum Court meeting, which was sent out with applicable notice. There was no notification of a committee meeting. You have not called a committee meeting. Therefore, you cannot call one on the spur of the moment at the last minute to appease your needs. That's just not how things are done. It's not proper. It is not proper, and it does not go with the statutory requirements required.
So if we don't want to pass anything tonight, then we have nothing to pass. And then
Mr. Chairman, I'm not
it's a futile
participating in
meeting.
the Finance Committee meeting that you are abruptly calling. I'm not participating.
There is no finance committee meeting. There wasn't one called.
If there's
You
not
can't
one
call
call,
one.
then if we, it was a confusion last week because of all the yelling and screaming.
No confusion.
So that now, if we don't want to have the Finance Committee meeting, then we don't have the Finance Committee meeting, but we don't have any business to address.
There hasn't been one
So what do
called.
you
Let's
wanna do,
not say
Joey?
that we don't want to do anything for
My
the
meeting's
record.
adjourned.
Everyone finished talking?
Yes, sir.
Last Tuesday, we had a scheduled committee meeting where the committees, Human Resource, Human Resource, Public Safety, and Judicial passed to the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee did not complete to pass on to the full quorum. If it's not passed to the full quorum, then there's nothing for us to meet about because it did not get out of finance. Now, we can debate as to whether the committee meeting was called in ample time The public was noticed that we were having a quorum court meeting. Whether the committee meeting is presented to you so that we could get this to the full quorum, then so be it. It is a meeting. The press was notified, maybe not of the committee meeting, but it is, the meeting has been properly notified to the press. Now, we have bumbled through this for the whole 11 months. We have things on this agenda that need to be taken care of. We have appropriations that's requested, bills that need to be paid, vendors in the room that want to be paid. We have bonuses for the employees on the agenda. We cannot successfully do those things unless we pass this to the full quorum. Now, we can sit here and argue about technicalities when, let's just be honest to the public, there's a whole lot of things that have been done out of order, whether some of us care to admit it or not. But at some point, we are going to have to get about doing the business of Jefferson County.
Mr. Chairman, are you speaking as an individual or are you speaking as a person?
Justice Carroll.
Preside over the meeting?
Justice Carroll. I'm not here to.
Because you haven't called the meeting.
I'm not here.
If you call the meeting,
I'm not here to debate or argue.
So I want to know what
I'm not here to debate.
Are you speaking as an individual or are you speaking as a chair?
I'm not here to
of the
debate
quorum court meeting?
nor to argue with you, Justice Carroll.
You said be honest with the public. So tell us what you're doing.
Well,
Are you
Justice
speaking
Carroll.
as an individual?
Justice
Or
Carroll.
you are debating as the
Justice Carroll. I had not started the meeting, but I allowed you to talk.
Okay, that's what I want to know. I want to know.
So, again, do y'all want to get about doing this business or what?
County Judge, I would like to ask one question. And I think it's clear that everything is defined by rules and regulations and statutes and codes. And from what I'm hearing right now, we haven't notified the press of a committee meeting, and you're asking us to call a committee meeting without notification, 24-hour notice to the public. So I guess my question is, are you asking us to break the law right now? There is a statute, there is rules and procedures, there are
Justice-
ways of doing things. Are you asking us to violate the rules to do what you're attempting to do
I am
tonight?
neither here to argue or debate. I simply stated to you that in order for us to conduct this business, we need to be able to move forward. If we can go back and forth all night long, Justice Franklin, about notifying the public in the proper time, which there have been occasions that haven't been done so.
What occasion?
I'm not here to argue or debate.
What occasion? You said there's been
there
times
have
we
been
haven't
several.
notified the press.
There have been several of meetings called and
Meetings
without proper
that you chaired?
notification. So, again, rules have been broken. I just want to know that if you want to carry out the business of Jefferson County, yes or no?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the agenda, are we going by this agenda? This is the committee's agenda, then we want it to be approved, and then we go into a full court agenda from what we approved here. That's what I want to understand.
It needs to pass out of Budget and Finance to be moved on to the full quorum so that we could be about taking care of this business.
And this is what we have on these pages here for me. Meetings that need to be moved out of committee into full court,
Out of Finance,
out of finance.
yes. Yes.
Is it, I
understanding, one of the items on the agenda tonight, it includes all the JP lawyer fees from the sheriff's lawsuit.
Yes, that's correct. That's included in the,
If we don't get something done on that, we ought to be liable for that fee for the lawyer.
that's correct. I believe an email was sent out to that effect.
Well, we better understand it's gonna cost us all about $2,000 each. You know, and these people that have rendered services for the county, not been paid for so long. Christmas coming up, they didn't need the money, but they really need the money right now. Not only do they take it them directly, but the family and the children, for our inability to come together and take care of this kind of thing. That's all I have.
I have another question that pretty much deals with finances. Looking at the treasurer's report and then looking at the items that we need to move out of committee to finance, I did want to ask the treasurer for about some things that I saw that were a little concerned. We want to move, if we wanted to move money, and I'm kind of out of order here a little bit because we're not into the agenda, but just a question. I just want the budget to look, in my opinion, was the budget going to be completed in some areas and move money over what we had as of October 31st?
You want to answer? I'll allow the treasurer. Go ahead, Ms. Venetia.
Okay, so to answer your question, no ma'am, the budget will not be completed. Since that treasurer's report is as of October 31st, we have received the last tax settlement. That last tax settlement, I want to think, was approximately $24 million. Of that, county general gets 10% of that. The road department gets 8%. The cities and the schools also have a breakdown in that number. So as of today, I want to think county general's cash balance was $3.2 million, and that does not include the $1.2 million that we have in reserve. So total for county general right now would be about $4,500,000.
Okay, that helps me with calculating the purse, because from what I have, it would have been difficult to see how to appropriately do everything we're asked to do. Even though we want to do it, I would want to do it, but now I'm hearing her report, so that gives some validity to that figure. I think we have new reports here, right?
No, not new reports. I mean, if there is, if you would like an updated balance sheet, I can provide that. I can give you an updated balance sheet, but we just update the treasurer's report at the end of the month. The close of when we reconcile the banks.
Would an updated balance sheet be difficult for you to get to the justices so that they can legitimately see how to balance what is being asked for what we have?
That's a simple report.
You said out of 24 million, 8% of it goes to the road department?
Yes, of each tax settlement, of each monthly tax settlement, county general gets approximately 10% and the road department gets 8%. And this was, you know, of course, taxes will be, October 16th. So this was our big tax settlement. And kudos to my assessor and the tax collector for all the work. Yes. Yes.
Justice Carroll.
Are we still asking questions? Because I'm thinking I heard one of the justices say that there was an item on this agenda that dealt with the monies that the majority of the Quorum Court have been trying to get on the agenda to be passed, that dealt with securing legal representation for all 13 justices of the peace that were sued by you.
No, that's not correct. That's not what that was not what was said.
Well, what was said?
what was being alluded to was the appropriations that the county judge's office, my office has asked of this court for the last several months. These monies that we're talking about, we showed line items, which was other professional services that was being used to pay for the lawsuit that the sheriff filed against the justices and myself. And that case has been concluded, dismissed. We're still waiting on an order. But with that, we were attempting to pay the attorney along with other vendors from several that provide services to Jefferson County. Those money would be placed in those line items so that we could pay for those vendors. And that included paying the attorney that represented the Quorum Court. So that's what he was talking about.
That just confused me when you said that. You said,
Do you?
said that there were monies that you asked for several months ago that did not make it out of committee. Matter of fact, it was rejected. You're saying that there's $35,000 in that money for the attorney fees that the majority of the Quorum Court has been trying to get on the agenda. Are you saying that that money is in that money?
No, sir.
So the money that the 13 members of the Quorum Court needs to pay an attorney to represent the Quorum Court in the lawsuit that you filed against the Quorum Court is not on this agenda?
No, it is not.
I think at a certain point, we're doing a lot of discussion here. We're going to have to enter some type of meeting. I mean, I'm just to be above board. We're either going into a Quorum Court meeting to finish discussing items or we're not. Right now, we're just kind of in the general public. There's no forum to this, so we need to enter into a meeting, a Quorum Court meeting, or we need to be dismissed.
Thank you, Justice Franklin, for reiterating. Justice Byrd?
I've been coming down here for a while. And it stresses me that we're not paying the bill. And that we've reached this impasse where we can't get the simple business of Jefferson County taken care of. Now, there are two lawsuits. One was the one filed by the sheriff against the Quorum Court. And we're waiting on a final ruling. But it's done, and we need to pay the attorney. We've got financial Christmas bonuses to be paid to the county. And if we dismiss tonight without taking care of those things, plus some other bills that accumulate, I don't know what we're doing here. You know, I mean, I see things that need to be straightened out. But what I would propose, for lack of a better way to do it, would be to we owe it to the county to conclude this month. And then we can have a damn knockdown, drag out extra if we want to. But I think we need to move forward. So I would make a motion to suspend the rules so we can have a finance committee meeting to address those issues that we did not address and send to full court tonight.
I second.
First, let me, Justice Byrd, let me address you. First off, for us to make a motion, and a second, once again, we would have to be in some type of formal meeting, either a committee meeting or a quorum court meeting to make a motion. Secondly, we can't make a motion to suspend a state statute. Freedom of information, notification to the press, there has to be a notification. We cannot suspend a state statute. We can suspend parliamentary procedure rules, we can suspend rules that we create, but we cannot suspend a state statute. It is a state mandate, a regulation, and a law to give 24-hour notice to the press for a meeting. I understand your thoughts, I'm with you, but suspending a state statute is basically breaking the law. Actually, it's not even basic. That's what we're doing. I didn't create this agenda. This agenda came from the county judge's office. They created it. They put it together. I mean, I have my thoughts about that. If it came out of the county clerk's office, there would have probably been a committee agenda attached to it for a committee meeting. But that didn't happen. All we have is a quorum court agenda in front of us. That's what we came for. That's the only thing that we can deal with.
We can't do that. We might as well go home. It's not what Congress wants. Because if we don't pass the resolution or the ordinance to allow Christmas, they probably won't have it because of the time frame.
Well, it sounds like we just have to schedule another quorum court meeting.
Well,
As a matter of fact,
let me
there
say
is a
this.
quorum court
Let me
meeting
say
already
this.
scheduled for
Let me say
Wednesday of
this.
this week.
Justice Franklin, let me say this. Now, we're talking about information not being sent out in 24 hours or proper notice. Well, you can look at that two ways. You can look at it whether it's a full quorum court or whether it's a committee meeting. It is a meeting they were notified of. We can debate that, and if the press want to debate it in court, we can debate that in court. The fact of the matter is that there are several issues that will have to be debated in the court of law. What we're trying or attempting to do now is to just get on, pass this out of the finance so that we can conduct this business. I think the public is ready for this. I think the vendors is ready for this. All of a sudden, rules have been broken now. I guess rules are broken to satisfy whatever party that's going on. We'll let the attorneys fight that out. But to dismiss this meeting because of you feel like a technicality or a law has been broken, I'm sure there are many things that we've done that hadn't been proper. But the fact that we're putting these employees that have worked hard, vendors who have provided services and can't get paid because this quorum court does not want to provide the appropriations, is a travesty.
Personal opinion.
Justice Franklin, I'm
But
talking.
don't-
I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, but don't.
I didn't
don't
interrupt you, Justice
put
Franklin.
facts on the quorum court saying what we do or don't want to do. It's
listen.
improper and it's unfair. Don't do that,
no,
please.
I'm not going to
Keep a
argue.
level of decorum
I'm not
about
gonna-
yourself when you're speaking about the quorum court. Exactly.
Justice Franklin, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I refuse to do that. Justice Adams.
Good, we have a few items that was on the agenda that can't seem, it just won't make it to your agenda. And you talk about paying this and paying that, but we have attorney fees as well. It never makes it to your agenda. It's, elected officials have spots that never make it to your agenda. And that is one of the fights, that we're having, that is your agenda.
Justice Adams, may I respond to you?
Well, when I need you first.
Okay.
And we put an agenda out, you tear it up, you veto it, it never makes it to your agenda. So we have issues that other elected officials as well as the quorum court need to do, but now it's the business at hand. We need to take care of the business at hand that comes out of your office. But there are some things that are coming out of other offices that just won't make it to your agenda. This ain't no fight against wanting to do the right or the right thing. We want to do what's right, but we have issues as well. But it never makes it to your agenda, sir. I've asked you on several occasions. Well, let's take both agendas. Let's take both agendas. We know what we need. You know what you need. You say no, that we are running back through committee, and that ain't fair because you control the committee. We are ready through the committee. Now you can see.
Thank you, Justice Adams. But to say that it was not put on the agenda, it was. And you are absolutely correct. It went through the committees and it failed in committee. Not once, but twice. We can go back and forth. Things that were presented to you or to the justices, you guys voted it down. I mean, potato. Whether you feel like I control these individuals, I don't. No more than I control you or the other individuals. No, I don't control the other elected officials. I don't control them. So the fact of the matter is that it went through committee. It failed in committee. So it was on the agenda. So that was done. So again, it is up to you. I do feel that we owe this to the vendors and to the employees. Information has been given to you where the monies were coming from. They're done within the budgets of each of these departments. So if we're not going to move on or have a committee meeting and move this on to the full quorum, then you're absolutely correct. What are we doing here?
Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'm gonna recognize Justice Carroll first, and then Justice Jackson.
Just two or three things that have been mentioned. Because the Constitution allows you to formulate committees, you took that authority and you arranged the committees so that certain people were on committees that did not allow things to get out of committee. You did that intentionally. You put, I'm gonna go name names, you put Justice Harden, you put Justice Agee, Justice Holcomb, Justice Johnson. You put them on committees as the majority on the committee, and then put other people on where they were in the minority, where no matter what they said, they could not vote anything out of the committee that those 4 people did not want out of the committee. You did that. Just like when you named me initially chair of a committee at the beginning of the year, and when the 9 persons voted not to approve your procedural orders that you alone constructed, you removed me from the chair. You then named Justice Dumas. When that committee met anyway, you then removed Justice Dumas and named Justice Johnson. And you did not respect the work that had been done. And so while people come out and they hear and they see, they don't necessarily know the underworkings that's going on with things that others have tried to get on the agenda that you hold hostage in your office and don't put on the agenda. And so when it looks like that we're saying no, we're not saying no, we're saying do right. 13 of us were sued by the county judge because of the procedural ordinance that we passed. 9 of us signed up for legal representation. That includes you, Justice Byrd. You signed up for legal representation. And it takes money to pay an attorney. That attorney has been working on behalf of the Quorum Court and the citizens of Jefferson County with no pay. And we've tried to get that on the agenda. And I have to say, Justice Byrd, you voted for that. You signed on to that, as well as the 9 votes that it took to turn down the procedural ordinance that the judge sent back in January. You voted against it. But all of a sudden, as other people are being given excess monies to the tune of $4,999, that we don't know why they're being given this money on claims that they're turning in, that they're being given money and they're voting a certain way. They're turning in claims. They have received, they've turned in 10 claims. They've received $4,900 and some dollars. And every time they vote in such a way that it defrauds the majority of the Quorum Court members. People don't know that the Finance Committee, those who met, those who came out, a majority, voted for a new chairman that's consistent with our procedural ordinance. Ted Harton is not the chair of finance, but he is still being put up as the chair of finance. And 4 or 5 people are going along with that because that's, I guess, what they feel they need to do. So let's not make it like that the majority of the Quorum Court is doing something that 1 is illegal, 2 is immoral, 3 is inconsistent with being a justice of the peace, dispersing their duties in a professional manner. Let's not pretend that, because that's not the case. The public doesn't know that. Just like the meeting the other day, I don't control the feed that comes off of that camera, but someone who controlled it, when a justice down there used profanity, they cut that out so the public couldn't hear it. I don't control that apparatus. Don't know how. But somebody who controlled it enough that they beat out the justice down there that used profanity. And then we want to pretend like the 7 justices who are asking for certain things are doing the wrong thing. And I have never adjourned not one meeting. I have never adjourned not one meeting.
Okay.
All the meetings that have been adjourned by the chairman of a committee, Finance, Ted Hardy, and Judge Robinson. So we have not stopped the business. We've tried to keep continuing the meeting. And for those of you that's been coming out, I know you've seen persons at that door over there. Excuse me, I'm not talking about you, but persons at that door who have been heckling as we've tried to continue meetings. So let's not pretend like, oh, we've been doing something wrong, and I don't know why you're doing something that's indifferent. We're doing it because it's in the best interest of the public. Now, the question that Justice Williams raised was a question that came out of our discussion before it was shared with us that there was supposed to be some more money. But all the expenditures that were being asked for would have brought the millions of dollars that we had down to $62,000. That's why the big questions. And all of this stuff that go on behind closed doors that's being passed along, we don't have privilege to it. We don't get it. We don't see it. And so consequently, we have to come out here and in 2 days, we got to come to the judge's office or we got to call somebody to find out what it all means. And if we don't get to do that, because everybody here mostly works, even if they're retired or has something else going on, when we ask questions, the impression is getting like we're doing something wrong. Go to the state legislature. Go to the state
Justice Carroll, Justice Carroll, Justice Carroll, Justice Carroll, Justice Carroll.
Sir? Sir?
Enough.
What's the
Enough.
sir?
Enough of the grandstanding. Listen.
I'm grandstanding?
Yes, you are. You are grandstanding. So we're going to do this.
I'm grandstanding.
We're not, there's no sense in going back and forth. So if we're not going to have a committee meeting to pass this out of budget and finance, then we're going to adjourn this meeting.
Well,
Because anything else is just grandstanding, comments being made that's incorrect.
Right.
And so, but I will say this. I think the public is very intelligent enough to understand what's going on. I think the vendors are very intelligent enough to know what's going on. And so we are going to adjourn. No, we're just going to adjourn and
Judge, can I
not-
make a statement for you, sir?
we're going to adjourn
I
because
need-
everybody be wanting to make a statement. So.
Me.
Employees, vendors, again, I apologize for you not being paid and bonuses not being given. Wasn't no sense in saying it. Justice Carroll. No, I ain't gonna.